Evening, folks. Lauren from Twin Soul Tarot. And tonight I'm going to give you the second part on the top 3 arguments against a universal basic income. I'm going to go ahead and debunk those for you. This is the second part of what I was working on earlier, and that is the second question on why universal basic income, according to this article, is not an effectual way to grow the economy and or eliminate poverty. Okay, so anyway, number 2. Incentives work, handouts don't. Incentives are a powerful force, and there's no greater incentive than financial security and holding down a job. When something is easily handed to you, you take it for granted, and while it would be nice to believe otherwise, giving cash handouts incentivizes people not to work, or in the words of the article, try that much less. Okay, first, number 1. It's already been disproven. Pilot projects in Finland, pilot projects in Canada, and pilot projects in Germany, as well as the working constant project that's been going on since Alaska enacted it, which is their fund that they give everybody. I think it's $500 out of oil revenue. So it's already been proven that a universal basic income does not disincentivize anybody to work through pilot projects. Okay. Number 2. Disincentivization. They're saying that hard-working Americans will be disincentivized to work because they're now being given a benefit of $1,000 a month. Okay, so if you were a nurse or any medical staff that are required to be working in hospitals right now during COVID, and you work 40 to 50 hours a week, maybe 60, you're being told that because you have a hard working job, that every single dime you get, you've had to put your life on the line for. And you're being told, okay, sorry, it upsets me. It infuriates me, I'll be honest. It infuriates me. But you're being told that because of how hard you work, that if you were to receive $1,000 a month, $1,000, to help cover your basic needs, that is a disincentive for you to continue to be a nurse. Now, think about it. Nurses and doctors, they go to school for years and years. And who knows, they probably dreamed about it since they were 10. About what they wanted to do when they grow up. Mommy, Daddy, I want to be a nurse. Dad, I really want to be a doctor. I really like to help people, you know? I would like to help them with all their brain, you know, like a little boy who maybe wants to be a brain surgeon. You know, maybe they want to detect brain patterns, whatever. Anyway, the point is, so you were being told as an incredibly hard-working American that if you were to receive $1,000 a month, that would be a disincentivization to work. No. Okay, sorry. No, it would not. Okay? No, I think we can clearly see now that it would not be a disincentive to work for a hard-working middle-class American who's got an education. Now, we could look at the other classes so that we can cover the entire populace of the United States. Okay? Let's move to working class. All right? You're working class. Say you're a plumber. Maybe that's not working class by now. I mean, they make a good 30 bucks an hour being a plumber. But my point is, say you're a handy worker. We have every other guy is a handy worker here in South Carolina. Let me tell you. But the point is that you are working class. You work at a restaurant. You work at a store. You work retail. You work customer service. You work whatever it is. You are a handyman guy or gal. All right? You probably make an average of between $10 to $15 an hour. All right? Either you're okay where you're at, or you dream of doing something more. You have you'll be in one or two states of mind. You'll either dream of doing something else, or you'll be okay with where you're at. But either way, getting an additional $1,000 per month is not going to disincentivize you to go to work the next day. That's not going to stop you in any way, shape, or form from getting up and going to your job. For one thing, you are not going to want to stay at that position, or if you do, that's okay. But if you don't and you want to move on, then one way or the other, you're going to be helping the economy grow. If you're going to grow your own business or do a freelance thing, your freelance thing you're doing, like music or writing or something, or art, you're going to create jobs for people. Because if you're, say, selling your art, for example, well, you're selling your art from a gallery, right? Okay, so you're involved with people who work at that. You're indirectly creating a job still for somebody, or maintaining a job for somebody because they work at that gallery. So my point is it all kind of works together, right? Okay, and then if you are dreaming of a better position than where you're at, right, and you are whatever else you do during the day, you want to go ahead and get going with starting your own business. So you got a startup idea, all right? That $1,000 a month is now helping you to go forward with that business because you don't have to go to that 9-to-5 job. You can go ahead and cut down your hours, maybe go part-time, whatever it is you need to do. Or if you're just a go-getter, maybe you'll work full-time and start a business and be successful at that. Where you find time to sleep I'm not really sure, but the point here is that you are now growing the economy. You're doing everything in your power to grow the economy. All right, and having a social safety net of $1,000 a month simply helped you do that. Not a problem. All right. So the only people, all right. So the only people is the third one that I'm going to go over right now. The third group of people would be the people who are basically on the street, homeless, all right? And those people getting $1,000 a month helps the rest of us not to have to foot the bill for homelessness. Homelessness and extreme poverty is more expensive than getting people off of the street. Matter of fact, the homelessness and the universal basic income, there's been the test that one of the pilot projects did helped people get off the street. So those very people it was proven that those people did spend the money on basics and on, for the most part, they spent it on the basics that they need to live. And getting people off the street is what, gives them the medicines cost, and just keeping people on the street is more expensive to the social, the shelters and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's more expensive for people to just stay on the street, and for people to be the costs of all these social services that most people are going to because they're on the street. Those costs, and social workers will tell you that it's really just more expensive to keep people on the street than off. So you've got all those, these three categories of social classes. That is a snapshot of how each one of these social classes would benefit from a universal basic income. You'll have to excuse me just for a second. Okay, sorry about that. I have some stiffness, so I apologize for that. Okay, here we go. All right. I know that's not very professional YouTube-y, but I'm human like the rest of us. So. Okay, so all right, so let's get back to the number 2 argument here. I was just finishing the last point on that, and that is giving cash handouts to every American incentivizes them to try that much less by removing, let me see, yeah, number 2, good, okay. All right, so, yeah, number 2. State is encouraging idleness, contrary to the entrepreneurial spirit. The last paragraph on this is so not relevant that I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to mention it. It mentions that employment increased when individuals were incentivized to get jobs when there wasn't a safety net. Okay, well, oh goodness. Apologize for that too. What's next going to happen? Okay. I apologize. Technical errors. All right, so yes. When there was no longer a guaranteed safety net, people fall right through, and then they end up with more people on the street like we have during COVID-19 right now. Our government right now needs to actually do at least a little bit more, which might resemble a universal basic income, but not actually be a universal basic income. However, we could use the research from it for a universal basic income in the future. Just ask Andrew Yang. He's watching what's going on right now. He is still for a basic income. Did I mention Andrew Yang yet? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mention Andrew Yang. Well, here's a good point about who I'm talking about right now. Andrew Yang. He's a young man, young as in he young at heart. And he's had a particularly professional and successful nonprofit for the last 10 years or so. He's an entrepreneur in the tech business, and he was until just May running for president. Yes, president of the United States. So, and it's kind of interesting because President Trump did say that he would, if he was not president, that he would in fact support Andrew Yang. But don't quote me on that. I heard that, so don't quote me on that. I always give you the most honest and up-to-date news that I can possibly find. So anyway, but I just wanted to mention that last thing about Andrew Yang. He's 100% for universal basic income, and he is presently still working on different projects, he's got some things cooking concerning universal basic income. Because he is, even though he's not running for president anymore, running on that ticket, he's still working behind the scenes. So, all right. So I really think that that's going to wrap up number 2 argument. I will come back with number 3 argument, and number 3 argument is going to be these. By the way, these are the 3 number 1 arguments against a universal basic income that I am debunking here. But also, I want you you, the viewer, to let me know if you think that a universal basic income could be not only extremely beneficial to eliminating some of the problems of COVID-19, as well as be I want to say detriment, but detriment to possibly detrimental to people's mental health detrimental during people's health to COVID-19, and then I'd also so that's probably enough right there. But those two, we want to know if you think that it's going to grow the economy, and if it's also going to be a boost to people's mental health during COVID-19, because this is very much a test of people's mental health. Being locked up like this is very much a test of people's mental health. Yes, okay. So, like I said, I'll go over number 3. I'll go ahead and do that tomorrow on this channel. And so, if you catch Twin Soul Tarot, you'll be seeing that tomorrow. And I'll also be doing some tarot soon. And I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell with this final thought. And just a final thought about this, and that is, whoever you are, you're not lazy. You may be depressed, but you're not lazy. And therefore, you deserve a universal basic income. You deserve a social safety net without holes in it. Love y'all. I'm with you 100%. And I'm going to sign off now. It's Lauren, signing off from Twin Soul Tarot. Y'all have a good night.